In a world layered beneath the waking hours, just beyond where the eye could see and the mind could fully grasp, there was a shadow who carried a lantern of glowing silver light. This shadow was not of darkness, but of soft, endless night, like a gentle veil over starlit skies. She drifted quietly through the realms of dreams, moving with a grace unknown to the hurried world of day. In her delicate hands, she held the lantern, a shimmering beacon that pulsed with a gentle radiance, meant to find those who had strayed too far into the realm of dreams. This shadow, known only as the lantern-bearer, had a sacred task. Each night, she roamed the dreamscapes, guiding back those whose souls had wandered beyond their bodies, tangled in the fantastical paths and endless wonders of their sleeping minds. Some found themselves lost in golden fields, others in endless seas, and yet others in forests of impossible beauty. But each morning, thanks to the lantern-bearer, they found their way back, drifting to their bodies to rise with the dawn. One evening, as the world began to sink into quiet, she noticed something unusual. A small glimmer far on the horizon, different from the usual soft glows of the dreamers she encountered. This glimmer pulsed with a dim and distant light, fragile and faltering like a star on the verge of extinguishing. Intrigued, the lantern-bearer moved toward it, her movements slow and steady, as the dreamscape around her began to change. She drifted through landscapes as diverse as the minds that dreamed them. Ancient castles half buried in sand, rivers of twilight beneath endless skies, forests hung with silver vines, and mountaintops that vanished into mist. As she moved closer to the flickering glow, she felt its fragility, sensed a great loneliness in its faint and wavering light. Her own lantern brightened, as if eager to help this soul return. At last, she found him, a young man lying on the shore of a dark, quiet sea. His form was shadowed, barely substantial, like a faded memory etched in fog. She knew at once that he had been here a long time. While others wandered briefly and returned to their bodies each morning, he seemed deeply entangled, anchored to this place in a way that defied the usual call of dawn. His presence was thin, a mere whisper of what he once was, and the lantern-bearer knew that he was far from his body, lost in a sleep that had stretched beyond nights and days. Without hesitation, she held her lantern above him, letting its light cast a glow around his dim form. The soft silver light spilled over him, stirring his spirit like a gentle breeze over still water. He was faint, barely able to respond, his essence slipping like sand through her fingers. But she was patient, unwavering. She guided him slowly, inch by inch, toward the path that led back through the world of dreams. Yet this path was not an easy one. For as they moved together, strange landscapes formed around them, vast fields of floating lanterns, dense forests with trees whose branches twisted to form faces, ancient ruins where shadows whispered from every stone. These were pieces of his dream, parts of his mind so entwined with his spirit that they formed a labyrinth of memories and forgotten thoughts, drawing him deeper even as she tried to lead him out. The lantern-bearer had encountered tangled dreams before, but none as deep as this. Every step forward seemed to draw them into yet another realm of his mind. But she continued, undeterred, her lantern guiding him through each layer of his own memory, each fragment of his own forgotten past. She saw flashes of his life, a childhood home, a forgotten promise, faces that smiled and vanished like mist. Each memory clung to him like delicate threads, holding him back, refusing to let him leave. The lantern-bearer felt his spirit tremble, reluctant to release the comfort of dreams for the uncertain world beyond. But she moved with steady resolve, her light breaking through the deepest shadows of his mind, reaching places where his spirit had retreated and hidden away. Then came the sea, As they moved closer to waking, they reached a vast, dark ocean. The final barrier, vast and seemingly endless, stretched out before them. This was the last tether, the final boundary between the dreaming world and the world of light. The man's form grew hazy and faint, for this was where he had lingered longest, unable to move forward, unwilling to leave. The lantern-bearer paused, understanding the difficulty of this last step. Her lantern glowed, its light spilling onto the waves, casting a path of shimmering silver across the dark water. Slowly, she began to cross, her presence like a beacon guiding him forward. The man's spirit wavered, hesitating at the shore, but the lantern-bearer waited patiently, holding her light steady. And at last, he began to follow, his form moving like a whisper through the night, crossing the ocean of dreams and memory, drawn toward the warmth of her guiding light. As they reached the far shore, the world around them began to fade, the dreams dissolving into a soft grey mist. The first hint of dawn was rising, a faint glow on the horizon, signaling the return to the waking world. She held her lantern high, letting its light merge with the dawn, and she felt him draw closer to his body, slipping gently from the world of dreams. With a final glance, she watched as he faded from her sight, his spirit reconnecting with the life he had left behind. And in that moment, she knew he was returning, that he would wake once more to the morning sun, to the world he had almost forgotten. The lantern-bearer remained as the dawn grew brighter, her work complete. She knew he would carry the echoes of the dreamscape with him, the quiet memory of her light, though he might never fully remember. And as she turned back into the shadowed realms, she continued her quiet journey, finding those lost in dreams, guiding them gently back to the world of waking. Her soft light a reminder that even in the deepest night, there is always a path home.